Morning folks, hello, welcome back to the channel. This morning in this video we're going to address my wood storage area. As you can see, it's very well organised. We've got all sorts of random bits of wood from all sorts of older projects, plenty of pallets as you'd imagine, and other offcuts. There's a bed there and there's a rack and there's all sorts, but I never throw anything out because worst case scenario it'll be kindling for the fire or for the rocket stove, so there's no point doing that. But as you can see, it can't really stay like this because it's a right mess. So we're going to come up with some sort of a rack with wheels so we can move it around, get it out of the sun, get everything on shelves or boxes, or I'm not sure what yet. We're just going to sort of make it up as we go along. We're going to try and use the materials we've got here. I don't really want to go and spend any money if I don't have to, but also I changed my car recently and I've got no roof rack or anything to transport any decent lumber, so that's not really an option. So we're going to try and make do with what we've got here, and the first thing we're going to do is focus on the base, which I think I've got this pallet here, which is actually a really big pallet. As you can see there, it's a good 1.70 m probably. So this is going to be the base. So the first thing we'll do is get this sorted, get some wheels on it, take it from there. It's got a bit of a warp, as you can see. So I think I'm actually going to break the pallet down, take advantage of these slats on the top, the really long ones, and then basically put them all back together without the gap and then fit the wheels. Try and remove some of the weight as well because it's super heavy with all this excess stuff on there. It doesn't need to be as robust because it's not going to be lifting any blocks or whatever it was used for originally. So I think we can get on with breaking it down. Right then, so there's hundreds of different ways to break down a pallet. Everyone's kind of got their opinion about it. One thing in common is all the nails are like twisted nails, so they're really hard to get out. You know, these things aren't designed to be broken down. Personally, I like to try and preserve as much of the wood as possible. So I'm not a big fan of coming in with a jigsaw or a sable saw and cutting through here and then cutting through there, etc., etc. So I like to try and keep the wood in one piece and with as little damage as possible. So for that reason, my preference is to use the sable saw and to actually just cut through, it's a metal blade, and just cut through the nails and then just tap them out with a punch, and then either put a dowel in the hole or whatever, depending on the application, you know, whatever I'm using the wood for. With that said, I do have a couple of different options and we'll have a quick look at how these work. Right, so we've got a typical pry bar, and then this one here, which I think is called a cat's paw. Very similar, but you've got more of a well in there. And this is designed, I think, for removing nails like this. With the cat's paw, you've basically got to try and come at the nail, hammer it in, and then trying to get hold of the head. You see, we damaged the wood because the wood's quite soft. We haven't even got the depth yet. There we go. And then you can pry it out. Switch to a hammer. There we go. And we've got the nail out, but as you can see, we've left a lot of damage behind. So to be honest, it's not ideal. This is another one, slightly shallower. So again, you sort of got to come in at it. Wash it a bit further under. Then we can remove the nail. Pretty serious nail. But again, we've damaged the wood, so not great. The other side, again, is like a cat's paw, but it seems to be a bit shallower. The grooves are very different. I don't know if you can see that or not. So we'll give this a bash. Again, you still got to hammer it into place. It's got a flatter side here for hammering. Okay, this time we're much closer. And once you get the head on its way, and we're all the way in there. So what you can do, once you've got to a certain height, we haven't really got the purchase anymore. This is too high up now, the nail's too long. And if you're worried about damaging the wood, you can get another piece, put it in behind like that, and then add to it as you need to. You're spreading, by using a longer piece like this, you're spreading the load across the pallet. Oh, there we go. And that's come out quite well and it hasn't damaged it. That one there is the way to go. As you can see there, I've actually split the wood now, so it's not the best. And this is the problem with putting too much pressure. It's not even a very big nail, but you can see the damage already. It's almost unusable now, fortunately. So I'll show you my preferred method. Right, so I'm going to put it on its end. Get a bit of wood in there to stand it up. And now we're looking to get the saw, it's just a hacksaw, down inside this groove here that we can then saw through the nails. Much less impact, much less chance of damaging the wood. That's my preferred method. So there's a gap already starting to form. You can get the saw down inside that gap, and then it's electric, which is good. And then obviously just cut through the nails. The heads will remain in the board, you tap them out afterwards, but it's the best way to try and preserve the wood without damaging it so much. Right then, let's give it a test. It's free. So sometimes as you're moving along, the gap isn't big enough. Sometimes you have to help it out by just giving it a little bit of a tap. If you're worried about damaging the board, you could always put another piece in there. But we're only talking about opening it a couple of mil to fit the blade in. There we go. There we go. So the board's now free. You probably just see got the nails sticking through there, so where we've cut them. The board is pretty much undamaged. Got a crack in it, might have to glue that up. So now the heads are all still in. So you could leave them if you wanted to. It's up to you. It depends on what you're doing. But me personally, I'm just going to get a punch and just tap them out. There we go. There's the head of the nail popped out. So you can see the two holes there. They're quite small. You could drill them out to 6 mil and put a dowel in, glue a dowel in, then sand it flush and you've covered the holes. Again, it entirely depends on what you're going to do. Anyway, I'm going to carry on, finish this off, and I'll come back to you once all the wood's prepped. There we go. So that's everything we've got left. Quite a lot of nails to work through. That's why I prefer just cutting them and boshing on. It protects the wood, it protects my back, and the work gets done a lot quicker. So I'm all for that. What we're going to do now, the wood's been sat out in the sun for a while, which is why it's got this grey colour. So it's pallet wood, as you know. It's pretty hardy, it's pretty thick. I'm just going to go at it with a flap disc. It's a 120 grit, so it's not like a 4, it's not too aggressive. We'll just go over lightly. It makes really super fast work of this. We're not looking for a great finish because it is just a storage rack. But at least we'll remove this grain and get a good surface for putting a bit of stain, just to stop it graying and making sure it lasts a bit longer. So we'll crack on with the flap disc for now. Right, I can't find my face mask, so I've dug out one of these old COVID ones. Looking good. So there we go, basically. It takes it back to a nice colour. It's quite a smooth finish, to be honest, but it's fairly fast. It's quite a brutal disc. It makes light work of it, and that's good enough for what we're doing. You can see the difference there. So I'm just going to bosh through and get them all done. Well, this is going to take me a good while. I've only just done the one. So I'm going to light the fire and start slow cooking some chicken. And there we have it, folks. Right, lunch is over, and it was epic. But now I'm afraid it's time to get back to work. And I've got these things here, these two, or actually these three big wooden beams. And I'm thinking they're actually going to be pretty good as the cross members. Can obviously put one in the middle for strength. The reason I'm liking them is because when I put the coaster on there, I'm going to be able to drive a really chunky screw. And the same with the base there, I'm going to be able to drive some serious screws down. Bit of wood glue in that as well, and we're going to have a properly solid base, I think, to then build up from. So we're going to get to giving these a bit of a clean up. Whoa. Right, that's the last one done. Looks pretty good. I've just knocked the edges off as well, just with the flap disc there. Just knocked the edges off, just to stop getting splinters or whatever when I'm working on it. But I think that's pretty good. They're all the right size. So I think we'll line them all up here, and we'll start getting it all dry fitted up. Use my combination square to set this where I want it. Call it 10 centimeters. So it's basically going to stick over 10 centimeters. Or is it? I don't know. Or is it better just being right on the end? I think it is. No, we're just going to go right on the end. Right, so to get maximum strength out of the end pieces, I'm going to go all the way to the end here. These are 69 long, 69.3. So we'll say 35 short. That's the middle. And these are 7 wide, the boards. So I'm going to mark the middle there, 3.5. And basically I'm going to start in the middle and work my way this way, because these are slightly shorter than the boards. So one will stick over. So to make sure it's even either side, we'll start in the middle and work that way. I've got one of these countersink drill bits, so I'll be able to countersink as we go. So we'll put 2 screws in. Just going to secure this board to begin with. Nice. So now that's in place, we're going to line the boards up now. And this board is sticking out just under 2, and this board is sticking out just under 2. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all drilled in place. So we'll go ahead and get them screwed in place now. So that's the last one in now. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing at the other end. Okay. Right, there we go. That's the board in the middle. So we'll go ahead and secure that so that we can push the rest against it. Perfect. So now we'll go ahead and get these drilled out. Whoop. Snap the drill bit. Got a backup. It's got a little grub screw. You just slacken off the grub screw. That pulls off. There's the broken drill bit. Pop the new one back in. And this just slides back over. And then you just have to set your depth and tighten up the grub screw. Now we're going to drill another hole. Now we just get it screwed in place. We'll just hammer that drill bit down and in when we're doing the final fit up. Nice. Right, middle one it is. Right, so for the middle one, the boards are 168. So that's 34, 50, 84. So I'll mark the center here. 84. 84. And this bad boy here is 8.5, so we want 425. So we'll mark 425, which is there. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. 425. Right, and we have to go in 2 centimeters. Okay, perfect. This side here, 4 centimeters, 2 in. Okay, excellent. Right, let's get drilled. It's screw time. Right, perfect. We can flip it over and see how it looks for the casters. Oh, it's definitely chunky. So I've just got the 4. I'll have to pop out to the shop on Monday, get another 2 for the middle. But for now, we can fit them up on the ends here. You can get it 3 in from the end. Okay, perfect. I'm thinking these are pretty good. They're going to go in pretty far. Nice. Just drill out the other holes. Get these screws in. Okay, excellent. We'll just carry on and do the other 3. Right, that's the last one now. So we'll flip it over, see how she performs. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's test it. It's pretty strong, bit of flex there, it's to be expected. Once we get the coaster wheels under the middle there with a bit of support, that should solve that. It's pretty chunky, so it's not going to snap. And besides which, it doesn't have to take my weight, it just has to take the weight of the wood, and it'll be spread across. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, I think we can unscrew everything, get it glued up, screw it back together, and then paint it. Right, there we go. Glued and screwed. We'll do the rest. Okay, that's the last one done. It's all glued and screwed. So I'm going to go and have a look, see if I've got some stain kicking about. Where I've got 3 little tins of stain. They're all different colours because of testers that are left over from another project. What I'm going to do, because this bit is basically going to be hidden under all the stuff we're going to build on top of it, and the underside is the underside, I'm just going to mix them all up in this old plant pot here, and then just mix them all together and just get it on there, just for a bit of protection. But before I do that, I'm going to flip it over, paint the underside first. So we'll just carry on, get that finished up. Okay, perfect. Colour's looking really good. Not a bad mix in the end. Okay, perfect. Now we'll just carry on and finish the top. Right, there we go. Nice. I've got enough left for a second coat, so we're going to let this dry for a little bit and then go back at it. Might as well use this up rather than putting it away now that I've made this weird hybrid colour. Right, there we go, perfect. I'm going to call it a day at that. That's 2 coats, looking pretty good. Let you check it out. So I'm pretty chuffed all in all. Not a bad day's work. It's definitely a good solid base to then start building off. I'm going to have a think now about the design of how I want to lay out the wood on the racks, etc. But that's going to be for another day. So I will catch you next time around.